Good evening, friends. It's been a while, but it has been so heavy on my heart today to just bring a word of encouragement to someone who I really believe is really in the midst of a struggle and a battle. And I just want to talk a few minutes and encourage you tonight about being in the valleys of life, being in the darkest valleys and in dark days. And as we look in the Bible, the term valley refers to all manner of rough times and situations in life. And Joshua talks about the valley of calamity, and Psalm 84 talks about the valley of weeping, and Hosea talks about the valley of trouble. And this verse in Hebrew actually means the valley of deep darkness. And so, how do we handle the dark valleys of life, and how do we navigate these situations? And I believe that first and foremost, outside of our faith, is to understand some things about the valleys of life. And the first aspect of the valley is that they're inevitable. In John 16, Jesus says, in this world you will have trouble. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when it's going to happen. So each one of us are going to experience difficulty and disappointments and discouragements. There will be times of suffering and sorrow and seasons of sickness and even loss and devastation and failure and fatigue. They are going to happen. They're a normal part of our existence. Valleys are also impartial. No one, no, not one of us is immune to the valleys of life. No one is insulated from pain and sorrow. No one gets to skate through this life problem free. And in Matthew 5, Jesus says, it rains on the just and the unjust. And so there's a part of us that needs to remember this isn't heaven. Things are not perfect here. And good things happen to bad people, and bad things happen to good people. Christians, disasters, tragedies. It's all part of life. But I think the most significant and profound thing about valleys, and I know this from personal experience, is that valleys are temporary, no matter what that is. They have an end to them. They do not last. They are not a permanent location for any of us. David says, even though I walk through the valley is not a place you stay in your entire life. It's something that you and I have to walk through. It is a circumstance. It is a situation that has a season to it. When you're in a valley, you often think it's a dead end, but it's not. A valley is like a tunnel. There is a distinct beginning and there's a distinct end. And you go through that tunnel, and eventually you will be back out into the light again. And at that point, it's a place, it's a platform to rebuild hope, to rebuild trust, to rebuild your faith. They don't come in our life to stay, they come to pass. And 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 gives us a wonderful promise that tells us there is wonderful joy ahead, even though we go through a lot of roughness and darkness in our life. And so I encourage you today to remember that the situation is temporary. Hold on to your faith, because it will be an anchor to your soul. Lean on the everlasting arms of love, because he promises that if you refuse to be discouraged as you walk through this, as you fix your eyes on him, that he will see you through. He wants you to rely on his protection and his guidance, and knowing that he is working all things, not just the good things, but the evil things and the devastating things. He's working all things together for your good. And it's not even a battle of your faith, it's a battle for your trust. And he promises he will walk alongside of you, and he will never leave you and never forsake you. Trust in him. Trust that there's purpose in your pain. Trust that one day all wrongs will be made right. Keep your eyes up. Know that I love you. I'm praying for you. I'll see you soon.